So today we're getting back into this area that's pretty close to the road. I think just based on how thick it is, it's probably one of those overlook spots. There's still one green private alfalfa field, and we're just checking back here to see in this real thick stuff right next to that field. Is there deer sign back here? It could be one of those, good opportunities. We're seeing a lot of droppings in here. They look fairly fresh. We still got a ways up there to get to the spot that looks pretty good, big picture wise on the map. So we'll just keep our eyes open and just go slow and as quiet as we can. It's hard to stay quiet entirely in this. Just about through this maze of blowdowns and early successional growth, and once we get up a little bit further here, we'll hit this area where it's an old clear cut. Should be less growth underneath. Should be a little bit easier for us to walk. And I'm thinking that transition will hopefully have some good deer sign on it. We're still seeing some droppings and stuff of deer walking through here. I'm sure they got lots of things to feed on. There's the occasional oak and things like that, but hoping once we get to that edge, that'll give us a real good starting point to look where we want to set up. Kept working our way back, and there's one place in here where we saw some decent sign heading toward those private crop fields. It was still pretty thick, and we just kept working down that edge further and further. Eventually we got to this point here where there's a tamarack swamp and a pretty decent sized trail heading right along the edge. It looks like there's some evidence of recent use. There's a few droppings right on the edge. You can see the little depressions in the actual bog itself that are deer hoof sized. So we were contemplating on whether or not we wanted to sit here or go back to that first spot. And we almost went back to the first spot, and then we just decided, you know what, this has just as good of an opportunity as being good. Most of my experience hunting tamarack swamps comes later in the year once everything's frozen. Design-wise, I think this is worth a shot now. Behind Sam, it's pretty thick. You can see how out on the other side of me here, it's more open. It's kind of bog with tamaracks here and there. And right along that line right there, there's a few trails that all kind of neck in right to this little pinch. So the trails do head kind of toward that direction of that private. So we'll see. So it's a little bit before 6 o'clock, so we got probably an hour-ish of legal shooting light left. And a doe came in from behind us, pretty much right down that trail that we were expecting that deer movement to be. And I've got a couple doe tags for this county. So she came in and gave me a pretty good opportunity to draw right behind that deadfall and just walk perfect broadside. I didn't even bother stopping her. Probably, I don't know, 12, 13 yards. And my platform's only 9 feet off the ground. It looked like a perfect shot, you know, right double lung, and she probably ran 40 yards, stopped, and then started taking off again. You could tell she was going down hard. So we heard her go down. She should be laying right over there, probably 80 yards away, if that. Yeah, you can see how this trail comes right along here and just wraps right around the back side of this fallen over tamarack. It's like just a real nice natural pinch point. The trails through here are really heavy. So I was about right there, and Sam was filming in that tree. And you know, there's a guy who messaged me today, asked me what my favorite overall climbing method was, and I told him, you know, sticks with an aider if needed, because it can get me literally in any tree. Those tamaracks are as tough as anything, you know, so just gotta be versatile, I think. We can't find the arrow, which is odd because it passed right through her. We know exactly where she was standing. We know exactly where the arrow should be. This stuff is pretty wet and spongy. The only thing I can think is that it may just be buried so far that we can't find it. It didn't skip. I saw the lighted knock go through. We can't see the lighted knock now. So, I don't know. Might just chalk it up to a lost arrow from too much penetration, I guess. We got some blood splatter on this tree already, you can see. And I mean, we saw the deer going down, so almost don't even have to blood trail. We can just walk right to where we saw her fall. Yeah, she didn't go far at all. This is a big doe, because she was probably slightly quartering too. This is the exit hole. There's the entry hole. Shoulder blade is right here. So right underneath the shoulder blade, slightly quartering too. Well, I mean, this deer didn't go far at all. We just got a ton of venison, and she ran a good direction too, because we're probably, in all honesty, only about 200 yards from the road in this tamarack swamp. Since the water level is kind of low in it, it's really easy to walk on. So this would be a really easy drag. We'll get her out to the road, we'll walk back to where we had the vehicle parked, drive right up, and get her in. We came into this spot kind of with high hopes that we'd see something, and that was reinforced a little bit more when we saw how heavy the sign was. Pretty excited, I think. You know, in this area there's a lot of does. Most of them are not this close to the car. But I know a lot of good areas in this particular property, so I'm, you know, optimistic that as we get closer into the rut and, you know, late October and even early November, this place could be a pretty good area to hunt. That said, we will get her taken care of and call it a night.